Rusty also explains in the book some of the reasons why people don't get it right and why maybe they don't start as well. So I think those are the big takeaways for me, and I think probably some of the greatest value to readers. It's nice to share the stage, as it were, with yourself and Jim and Kyle, and of course Rusty, very, very humble. I think our original sort of conversation struck up when he was starting his business as a buyer's agent, and I started a podcast really for our property investor clients. So what I do is tax depreciation is my specialty. So when an investor buys a property, we help them with their deductions and their cash flow, and of course part of the team, such as Kyle with the finance and Jim with the accounting side of things. So yeah, we had a good chat, and I've sort of realized straight away that on paper, Rusty sort of seems like we're going to have a conversation about yield curves and inflation hedges, and my brain's going to melt, right? Because he's got that sort of academic background. But in the book, which I have like lots of little post-it notes of all the gold in there, it's actually plain to see straight away that he's also very gifted, apart from the technical side of things, of explaining things really, really simply. So we had quite a few conversations. We've worked together with mutual clients, of course, interviewed him on my podcast, which I know a lot of the listeners got a huge amount out of. We haven't actually met in person because of the COVID situation, but as soon as we tick that box, I'll gladly call him a friend. I think it's the grounding. I mean, it starts with his drill's purpose. I mean, that's quite refreshing to say, what am I sort of here to do? What am I on the earth for? And he's really driven to be able to give his area of expertise to people. And I think that's what the book is about. But also the way that he kind of frames it in the Simon Sinek style, starting with why and looking at the average results of property investors. And, the fact remains that 72% of property investors only ever own one property. And I think that's a perfect way to start. And that's kind of been, I guess, a mission that speaks to me as well, because I think if you're getting into property investing, chances are you're doing it because you want to fundamentally change your life in the future. And there's a fairly strong argument that one property is not necessarily enough to do that. It might be 3 properties, 6 properties, 10, it depends on the value and all sorts of things. But I think that most people that jump in do have goals to own more than one property. And the reason why they don't get it is because they get some things wrong. So that framing was important to me. And Rusty also explains in the book some of the reasons why people don't get it right and why maybe they don't start as well. So I think those are the big takeaways for me. And I think probably some of the greatest value to readers. I think the property space needs more people like him that understand and are quite happy to talk about the risks, and they're not necessarily flogging a product that they happen to sell or have a vested interest in. So I think the more that we can get open experts that are really genuine experts in their field, that have an unbiased and agenda-free approach to sharing their advice, the better.